Hey everyone, welcome to First Look. This is our brand new series where we're going to review some of the used firearms and some of the brand new firearms that are coming out and let you know if it's worth your cash. As well as big thank you to Mainstreet Guns and Range who are actually providing us the firearms. Mainstreet Guns and Range has the largest collection of firearms and ammunition in Atlanta, as well as you know where to find them. They open from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. almost every single day. Alright, let's get to the video. Alright. Back to the review. So I have a 2023 Spec Series from Smith & Wesson, and we're gonna compare it to the new version of 2024. First of all, it comes in a hard case made in the USA, and inside, as standard in any Spec Series, you get a challenge coin, which is, I'm very impressed with this one. They did a very good job printing the proper gun, because I have the one from 2023 and I think this looks just a little bit more established. You get a custom knife from Smith & Wesson. It's pretty small, but nice little accessory. You get the gun itself, but we'll come back to that later. And you get 3 magazines with 23 rounds each, which is a very nice addition because last year they gave you a smaller 17 round, which they gave you 4, but I definitely like the more capacity. As well as with every Smith & Wesson, you can get a large, small, and medium backsides depending on the grip that you prefer. And all of this is included in a package. As well as your gun is threaded, so there is a thread protector in the package. And a very important thing is you get this extra key that holds the barker to the frame. And it doesn't look like anything important, but trust me, I lost 2 of them already during the competitions and stuff. So now I have a random one that I picked up with a different color that doesn't match my frame, but it was $8 plus $12 shipping. So I'm very excited that they actually put one in a package. I think it's one of the most beautiful Spec Series that Smith & Wesson did ever. It looks very nice, and we'll try to show you in the video. It's almost a two-tone, so you have a gray slide, darker gray, and then a little more metallic frame with a very nice texturing back and forth, as well as probably one of the most beautiful titanium burned blue color. It looks phenomenal. I honestly think it's one of the most beautiful guns that I have seen in 2025 so far. As well as the fluted barrel, which is also matched with the blue color. It looks very beautiful throughout the cutouts on the slide. It's just such a gorgeous gun. I think Smith & Wesson did a phenomenal job. The main features of the gun. The gun comes with a strike industry compensator made of steel, just like your entire frame and the slide. As well as I really like the new compensator design. It is much easier to attach to the gun. If you can see, with 2023 Spec Series, we also had a compensator, but you have a proprietary tiny little screws on both sides, and you need a key that can actually get in there. Now, it is much easier with one large star pattern bolt and just a small hex key on the top. So you don't need anything special. Any hex key can get on top of here, and majority of us have the star pattern keys from sites or anywhere else you can pick them up. I think Strike Industry did a very good job updating their compensator. Now going down the slide, you have very aggressive cutouts. For anything that you do with any manipulation of the slide, it sticks to your skin and does a very good job allowing you a very solid purchase. I really like the design of them as well. The Smith & Wesson been doing it for a while with like almost a wave looking cutout. So this looks very, very nice. I like the design a lot. So as you can see, they moved away from having like ridges cut out in the metal to a wave pattern like this. Yeah, and as well as you have it in the front and in the back. Going down the slide, you'll see a tall night sights. So they do glow in the dark, as well as they are pretty tall for a co-witness with your red dot, as well as if you just want to shoot it with a suppressor, you'll have a good view over the suppressor without blocking your side picture. Now, following the frame, we get to the trigger. And the trigger, in my opinion, is one of the areas where Smith & Wesson can improve this gun. What I'm referring to is, technically, on paper, everything sounds amazing. It's an aluminum flat face trigger with about 3.5 pound brake. But when you get to actually shooting and feeling the trigger, the travel of the trigger to the wall is super long. And then the brake, technically 3.5 pounds, but it feels closer to 5 pounds. And then return of the trigger back after you click, it's almost not there. Like, the trigger does not feel snappy. It almost wants to follow your finger, and you don't feel that click when your trigger goes back into a firing position. Now, this is not only happening with 2024 models, because on my 2023 model, and granted, I shot this gun for maybe around 3,000-4,000 rounds already, so this trigger has been well worn. It's the same story. The trigger feels very heavy. The return to the firing position is almost not there. And I would say if Smith & Wesson can improve the speed from the trigger going back into a fire position, that would make this gun so much better. Again, this is technically their Spec Series, and I'm expecting for the price to have the best possible trigger. And I think the Smith & Wesson can improve this a lot by just changing the trigger to something else or developing this a little bit more. Now, to a very good point of the gun is the weight, which we're gonna measure together. Without a light and an optic, without a magazine as well, so just the gun by itself, is 37.2 ounces. Now, if you take the 2023 series that also has a hollow sound optic and streamlight light, is 32.3 ounces. So it's much heavier due to the slide and frame being fully steel. So if you add a good light and good optic, you'll be around 50 ounces for just the gun without any ammo. And I think it's a very good thing for a competition. The heavier the gun, the easier it is to control the recoil of the bullets, and the easier it is for you to get back on target. Now, going down the frame, we get to a very familiar to everyone 18-degree grip angle from Smith & Wesson. As you can see, they use it in a lot of different guns, and for a good reason. It's very well designed and very thought out frame, and I really like how it feels in my hand. So I recommend, if you have an option, go to Mainstreet Guns and Range and handle this gun. Smith & Wesson engineers did a phenomenal job on this. Every cutout, every groove, every little part is so thought through and feels just perfect. I really like it. I honestly bought my first gun from Smith & Wesson just because it feels so good in my hand. And this 2024 version is just like that. Another fun thing that I noticed during the review is fully steel guns have just such a great sound when you manipulate the gun. So I try to show it to you, and I'm not sure if the mic will pick it up, but feel the difference from this sound. And now the 23 version, which is aluminum. It's such a weird high-pitched noise with the aluminum, and steel feels just so good, and I like it a lot. So whenever you get a chance, if you can play with the gun, you'll hear the difference of steel, and it feels very, very nice. Most important part of this is the price. Now, the MSRP of this gun is $16.99, and you can decide for yourself if 3 magazines, a coin, a knife, a very nice case, a gun that already came with a compensator, already have an optic cut, and the magwell is worth $1,600 to you. Now, in my opinion, if I could afford it, it would be mine already. But in Mainstreet Guns and Range, if you want to pick this up, it's listed below MSRP at $16.49. So it could be yours, and you know where to find it. Final thoughts. I think this 5th generation Spec Series are extremely amazing package. And I take my hat out to Smith & Wesson engineers. They keep improving the gun little by little, especially shooting the 2023 version a lot, I notice how much work they put into this gun and how small but very necessary changes being applied to this firearm. And I like it a lot. I think they're moving in a great direction. My only concern, if by any chance anybody from Smith & Wesson is seeing this video, please rework the trigger. And aside of that, this is a phenomenal firearm, and I hope one of you will get it.